Okay, so very good morning, everyone. Starting with our new sessions for today, we will be talking about first one, which is going to be making a simple Google form. After which I will also talk to you all about making a Google quiz, and following which I will also show you all how we can club the quiz to your classroom. So the way to go to Google form is a very simple way. The way in which we go to our email. And again, as even Conrad sir was saying the other day, your 9 dots is a very, very important thing when you come to Gmail. So again, we're going to click on these 9 dots. Among all the options that we have, as we scroll down, we come to the option called as forms. I'm going to keep it very simple from here first. So when you click this option forms, it opens up a tab that gives you a page like this. So I hope you all can see this page, and I've already made some many different forms over the time period. So you can see all your previously made forms. But however, I need to create a new form from scratch. So you always click plus this for this blank option where you can create a blank, it's a totally new form that you want to create. Let's say for very simple form that you want to take a report on your students after your class, like let's say now since all our lectures will be online, and you want after your class to get over that the students should answer a few questions and in a way also use it like in attendance or some kind of way. So you can say lecture 1, okay, probably it's your first lecture, let's say a particular topic in the brain, okay, lecture 1, the brain. I'm taking this kind of a topic. You can give a certain description that this covers up unit 1. This is from unit 1 subpart 1. You can write any description that you feel. You can write down how many marks it carries. You can say this test is for 5 marks, so the kids also know that how much they are being evaluated for. But in the first section, we will need some basic details of the children, of the students. So you can put name, and when you select this, it automatically has made this into a short answer format. Now I'm going to show you all from here. So when we click on this option, we get a series of options that we can select from. A short answer is when you're going to use it for something as simple as a name of an institute, or just for your name and separately for your surname or something. But if I take a paragraph based option, it would be something like for an address of the institution or something like that, what you can select for. So normally when it comes for name, the system automatically selects short answer and keeps it ready for you. Now, in case you want this question to be a compulsory one, means that the students or the any person who's filling this form cannot submit the form till they don't answer all the questions. You can make this a required question, means the student or the participant has to fill their name by clicking by when they fill this form. So you as a maker can keep in mind that by clicking the option required, it becomes compulsory for every participant to fill this question. I want to add another question. So now you look at the series on this side. I'll just put the spotlight on. Okay, so we had these first questions. Now here we have a first option, add question. When I click on this, it opens up a new question for me. Okay, now as we see, there are different other options which I will speak to you as we go through. First we'll finish up with all these options, and then we'll come to something like this. Now again, if we want to take something like as I said, the address of a person, this automatically takes up to a paragraph based answer. As I said, it automatically takes, because these addresses can be a little long, therefore it takes up to a paragraph based question. You can also make this required. Suppose later you realize that the question was not very important, I don't need it, I can always click the option delete. So once I click the option delete, this question is completely removed. It is not for the students to see. This is when you are setting up the form. You have not published the form yet for the people to actually see it. Okay, so I'm adding another question, and I've kept this, so say address. Okay, so that's gone to the paragraph based one. We have made it a required question. I'm adding another question now. Like if you all have seen when you all have filled the Google registration form for this webinar, we had the question called as your position you're holding, or the kind of whether you're an assistant professor, you're a school teacher, you're a junior college teacher, you're an associate, you're a higher professor, you're a teaching assistant, whatever post you bear. So we can put a question on position you are carrying right now. So position, and this automatically either makes it into a short answer, or we can also select, there's another one called as the multiple choice. Now in multiple choice, now this multiple choice one is what I want you all to pay most attention to, because even when we come to quiz, the most commonly we always make multiple choice questions in our quizzes. So therefore this one becomes a little bit important even from a quiz point of view. So in terms of position, I can always put here as a school teacher. We can put uh, assistant professor, associate professor, anything that you feel that you are addressing to. But suppose if you cannot take into consideration all the aspects, as you see on the screen, there's this option add other. I can just click on it and there's this option that shows other. So suppose the person feels that, oh, my position is not highlighted amongst the given options, they can always click on the option other and type down their position. So in this way, even the person gets the choice, who's filling the form, the choice to put what they want to put. So it is not fixed to what you have already selected. And again, we can make this required. So you can always put this as some of the most general information that you want from people. You're very simple. We can also take something like as a phone number or an email address. Now, with respect to email address, I will show you all another way in taking the email address rather than actually putting it as an option here right now. Google Forms directly does that work for you. So I will tell you about that in some time. Now, once I've taken down all the information about about the participant or the student, now I want them to come to the main part of the testing or answering some important questions. Say if your institute is organizing a career guidance workshop for your students, now you will take the information of the students. You also want to understand what kind of students are coming, and you want to know what kind of question, what kind of careers they are looking at. So you can always talk to the resource person about what kind of people are joining the session. You can always make another section by clicking these two separate this thing. You can see the term here has come up, add section, and as you scroll down, it opens up a totally new section that looks very similar to the first one. So when you are filling this form, like if you all filled the feedback form on Sunday, you will have seen you filled your information, then you pressed next, and then it moved to the next page. So this section opens on the next page. And let's say this is about the test, or about the, as I said, if you're having a career guidance workshop, you can take information whether, to understand the students, are they coming, are they interested in the science, arts, or commerce career? Are the students interested in engineering? Are they interested in sciences? If you're a science teachers, you want to understand what kind of future prospects your students are looking up to. So you can always make them fill a form, and once you get an average idea of what your class is, if the class is more for humanitarian courses, you can obviously understand that what you want to go through. So in this section, we can put anything that is relevant to our topic. You don't need to make a section. You can always put it in one continuous line, but a section makes it look a little neater and well segregated when you do the form. Now, I can always put my first question here. Let's say, if I'm talking about a career guidance session or my session on the brain after my lecture, so I can ask about what are the career options you are looking, what career options are you looking for? Options are you looking for post the 10th grade? So it's a very simple thing. So what we can do here is we can always put the options science, arts, commerce, diploma, anything like that. You can always fill your options as an MCQ. And if you want, you can put other also. So suppose students have some different ideas and creativity and they want to go into something totally different, you can put an option like that. Now, suppose if I was taking my lecture on the brain and I want to ask them, um, what are the four, like, let's say, a particular topic on a particular drug, let's say a drug that is responsible for drugs which are stimulants. Now, in this case, what I want to do is I want to make it multiple choice, but I want to give them the drug pictures, the images of the molecules of the drug. So I'm just showing you all this on the scientific aspect. You can always be creative in your own way with respect to your own background or whatever subject you are teaching or whatever you're taking. So in this case, I would always click on my option one. I would click on add image. So I would have downloaded certain images onto my uh, laptop or desktop and keep it ready. And say probably you can always go to Google and type for any drug stimulants. Okay, and so sorry for that. Yeah. So I can always go for an image and I can see what are the different drugs. This is, I'm just giving you all some images. Okay, I can actually take the real drug molecule and talk about it, you know. Let's say a barbiturate, I can take the molecule and show that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this picture, let's say of this drug, and just copy it onto my desktop. Okay, I've just dragged it and dropped it onto my desktop. I can just share my whole screen and show it to you all how I've just dropped it here. Okay, so right now that you all can see my whole screen, I just took this image and I dropped it outside in the, here you can see I've dropped another image here. So I've got two images already dropped onto my screen. And now when I want to actually put it to my form, I can very easily click on this option which we just saw here. Right next to it there's an image. Click on this image, and once again from my desktop drag that image into into this here, and it will upload that image as my first option. So your image is your option one. You can always put some explanation for that. We can add another option and put another image here, so students can actually get image based options and select which of the images is appropriate. Again, I can put something else, whatever I want to put, and this becomes my required question. I can go further. So this is how students will see it. They will see it as two separate images with some term or some description written to it, and they can identify, okay, this one is a drug stimulant, this is not a drug stimulant. They can click on that when they are seeing the actual answer. So in this way, we can actually put in the form options which can be image related only. We can also put a question like identify the image. Okay, and right next to your question there's again this image option. This time when I click on this image, let's say I have taken the picture of St. Xavier's College, and from the St. Xavier's College I am taking a picture of our first basketball court, the first quadrangle, the first grounds, or anything that you can feel comfortable to call it, the first quad as we know it at Xavier's. So I've dropped this image, and once this image loads up, I can say identify not the image, but identify the location in the image. And my options can be canteen, first quad, it's the first quadrangle, the woods, or the library. And obviously they can identify and mark this. And in this way, we have got a series of questions with where we have the question, which is an image, where we have options with images, where we have simple options just placed. So in this way, you can create different formats of questions. Another kind of important one that I would be also showing you, also I've shown you all short answer, I've shown you all a paragraph, I've shown you all multiple choice. I'm also going to show you all a checkbox question. I'm going to show you only just two more types from this. We'll just talk about checkboxes, and then we'll talk about file uploads and linear skits. So three more. Now checkboxes actually allow us even in this case, okay, let's say I can make this also a checkbox. It allows me as a student, whoever or the participant who's filling this form, to actually be able to select more than one option. Whereas an MCQ allows you to select only one option as an answer. In the checkbox, the student can answer two options. So normally when they're doing survey forms, so let's say in a survey form, they want to know during the lockdown, what are the different modes you were carrying out shopping from? So was it online, okay, or what are the different applications you use? So were you using Amazon, were you using Flipkart, were you using Tata Click, or whatever you were using as an option? They can put a series of options and they can put an option other as well. So people can actually mark all of them. They can mark only few of them, whichever they are comfortable with, whichever they're using. So check boxes give us the option to select for multiple choicing, means more options. We can select for 2 or 3 options from the given choices. Whereas in the multiple choice questions, it's like a perfect exam where we want you to select only the most right appropriate option. Okay, so I hope this one is also very, very clear. And I will take on to two more kinds. The next is a file upload. The file upload is the images normally just get stored to our Google Drive, as we told you all even in classroom, how it makes a folder and stores it in Google Drive. The same way is where our data is going to be stored in Google Drive. Like during this form, we asked you all to click a screenshot of the transactions you all were making and upload the file to the transaction, to the form. So in this way, you can always tell your students, draw a certain diagram in your notebooks, click a photograph, and upload it to this form. So they can answer a series of questions and also upload a page to the form. Now you can select, you can say, please draw the diagram of a leaf and upload it to this question or to the options given here. Okay, now you can tell them that you want the file size to be only 1 MB to 10 MB. You can go up to 100 MB. You can go up to 1 GB is a very comfortable thing. But if you go up to 1 GB, it's simply very heavy. So which is why I think some of you all may have also had a problem filling, because when your phones took a screenshot or whatever you all did, it may have been a little more than 10 MB because I have kept it restricted only to 10 MB. But suppose if I make it up to 100 MB in this case, okay, that allows the people to put up a file of any size from 1 to 100 MB. Now, if I click on allow specific types of files, means I want only an image, which can be a PNG, it can be a JPEG. I'm not going into the technical terms in that aspect. But in case you feel you want only a certain one, you can always select the option. But I would always suggest that let it be free to the students to upload in whatever format they want to. So I would generally never say allow specific types of files. I always say let it be very generalized and make this a required question. Another kind of question, which is going to be the last one I'm covering up in the forms method, is going to be the linear scale. A very comfortable one, the linear scale. Linear scale is often be used as a feedback option. Okay. Now, in the feedback option, I want to ask you, like, let's say I'm asking you all the question, how would you rate all the sessions? How would you rate all the sessions? Okay, all our current 4 days, let's say, are over, and I've given you a feedback form, and I can put the options from 1 to 5. 1 being least satisfactory, and the 5th being very satisfied. So when I select this and say required, you see how this looks? It looks as the dots, being least satisfactory to very satisfied, option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can always select this even up to an option of 10. You can select only up to option 3. So you can always make it look like something like 1, 2, 3. You can make it look up to 5, whatever is your choice. You can go up to even 10. And this is how it would look in the case of 10. So you can always put a linear option so that people, when they come, they have to just select the dot and the option is marked. So in this way, we have just covered some of the different kinds of questions that people can actually select and put up if they want in this given form. You can go to settings. Now I just, let me just close this 1 second. I'll just use my annotator and show you all this. This option of settings is another very important option when you are deciding certain factors. So I said about email addresses. I said generally don't put the option of email addresses. You can always come to settings and say collect email addresses. So Google in their form automatically will put the option to collect the email address. Now, right now, because this is under the G Suite, so therefore it's restricted only to Xavier's, but I can remove this option so that anybody who is, whether you are of a Gmail ID, whether you are of a G Suite ID, or even with that matter for a Yahoo ID or something, you can always answer to this form. I can limit to one response, so I know that my students or the participants are not repeating it multiple amount of times. Thank you, Marzu sir, for this. So you can see that ticking this only allows the people under the G Suite to fill up, means only the ones at Xavier's who have got the xaviers.edu.in, the students, or the xaviers.edu staff members. So we are keeping this non-selected so that all people can actually answer the form. Okay. Then, okay, let me just finish with this. Yeah. Okay. So with that, we have finished with that option. And as I scroll down, edit after submit is something you can also give your people. Suppose if they feel that they made a mistake in some form, but the form is already submitted, they put their name wrong, like in the current feedback form, which I will be giving you all at the end of the 4-day session, you have to put your name properly and your email ID properly, because within a few seconds of you submitting your form on the registered email, you will automatically get the certificate you want. But if I don't give you this option of edit after submit, the mistake on the form will automatically get registered onto your certificate. So I can always give you an option to edit after submit, means after you submit, you can always go back, recorrect, and again edit your form. So I hope this option is also very clear. Then, yeah, with moving on to presentation, if it's a test, you don't want your students to get the questions in the same order. So you want the MCQs to be shuffled up and down. So you can select, as Marzu has highlighted, shuffle question order. I can always click on this and it will allow the questions to be shuffled in a random order. However, if you are making it as a form for evaluation or for admission purposes or for a survey or anything like that, my suggestion is do not take the shuffle options order. Shuffle your questions, because it doesn't become a little appropriate. Even it for the when a form goes, it will be a little systematic in a particular order. But with respect to students, you always want their questions in a shuffled order, and therefore it is my suggestion that you could always take a quiz by creating shuffle question order. So as Marzu has written, all options of what is that, of MCQs and questions will be shuffled. Thank you so much, Marzu sir. I'll just move to the quizzes now, so you can remove that. Now, the most important thing, we want to make this form into a quiz. What are we going to do to make it into a quiz? Is a very simple. Again, as we went to the settings option, I'll just cancel this and just show it to you all again from the start. Click on the settings option, come directly to quizzes, make this a quiz. Simple. It has made it a quiz, but in a quiz, you need to submit the right answer. How are you going to do that? So first of all, just see that all these options are very clearly noted and you have made this a quiz. That is most important. Okay, release the grade immediately after submission so your students come to know the score. Otherwise, you can also, if you do not put this option off, once you feel that all the tests have been done by all the students, there's an option for you to release the score, and you can release the score to the students. But I would always say keep it as immediately after submission, so students don't nag you that, oh sir, when are you giving us the results? Ma'am, when are you giving us the results? It's going to be very simple that they will get their results immediately after submission. And I'm going to save these options. Now, how do we make this into a test? We need to put the right answers. Initial details remain the same. There we are not going to do much work. Now, let's say I'm come to this. Which drugs are stimulants? Okay. And I click this. Now you will get a new option here called as answer key, which you were not getting in the form. You will only get it when you select the option of make this a quiz. In the setting, we just selected make this a quiz. So therefore, we have got this option answer key. Thank you, Marzu sir, for marking it. Answer key, when I click on this, I will select the marks. I will select the right answer. So when I let Marzu sir finish, yeah, select the marks and the correct answer. Okay. So when I click this, you can see there's an option called as points. So you want to keep this as a 1 mark MCQ, or you want to keep it as a 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you want. It's your choice, your paper, your quiz. But commonly, as we have MCQs of 1 mark, it's allowed. And you select which is the right answer. Let's say this is the right answer. You see it's highlighted in green with a tick mark against it. And you click this option, done. And in this way, your question is registered with its answer. And now it shows here 1 point. So in this way, you have put the marks, you have also put your option, you have given the right answer. So the students, in case they mark the wrong option, it will also show them how you get the right answer. Now, I'm repeating this process again for the next question. Again, here I've got another question. I'm saying these, when we make the question, we put all the question details, we put the options, you select the option answer key, you increase your points to 1 or 2 or whatever you want. Now, since this is the first quadrangle of Xavier's, it's the first quad, I click this option and then I click done. In this way, I have made my answer. So in this is the way you can actually make a quiz and actually get the answers from students, and they will automatically get the results because you have already fed your answers to Google Forms. Google Forms will not produce the answers to them when they're answering the test. Once they're done with the test, they can look through the answers and see where they made things wrong, what was the right answer. They can come later to talk to you about it. So therefore, it's complete clarity with the students once they have given the answer. However, I don't know if Conrad sir could help us if there's any extension to put the Google form on a time limit. Conrad sir, is there any extension that we can use? I have not really used that till now.
Yeah, yes. So there is an extension. It's called, there are in fact 2 extensions. The better of the 2 is an extension called Timify Me. But basically what that does is you cannot send the Google form from the Google form via share. You have to go to the website of Timify Me, link the Google form to that website, tell it how much time you want to give your students, and then send the students the link from the website called Timify Me. So I have used it for my exams, for the courses that I conducted. It works brilliantly because the form now gets a timer on top. So students, as they are answering the exam, see a timer clicking down the minutes. So if you said 45 minutes, the timer will start at 45 and count down to 0. The only hiccup that you have to warn your students is if the timer reads 0, the form doesn't get auto submitted. If they don't submit the form within the time limit expiry, they literally have not answered the exam. So then you have to allow them to submit it using a special, decouple the form and then allow them to submit. But if you give about 5 minutes more than what is the mandated time, I've 60 students have approximately taken the test using Timify Me, never had an issue with basically the limit that is being exceeded. But this is something that you need to keep in mind. The form doesn't get auto submitted once the time gets over. So your students have to submit it within the time limit. One advantage is if you're using your Gmail accounts, I think Timify Me gives you 100 emails free. So you can mail 100 people for each form. If you're using your EDU accounts, so some of you have G Suite accounts. So if you're using your G Suite accounts, you get about 1,000 emails free. So that's the advantage of having G Suite accounts, and you have to log in as an educator. So if you log in as an educator, they understand that you have a G Suite account. They will give you that extension for 1,000 emails for a particular form. So apart from just G Suite giving you advantages with the G Suite account, there are certain parallel advantages even for extensions of forms that are available. Okay, Kai, you want to take this question?
Just another 2 minutes more. Conrad. Another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
More.
Okay. Okay.
I'll be
Fine.
done
Fine.
with this in
Fine.
another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show them on the response end, how does it actually look, you know, on like I have some few quizzes that were done. So I'll just show them on some of the quizzes on a response end. How do you
Correct.
actually
Yes.
see the responses? So just give me a second. Yeah, we had this online aptitude test in analytical chemistry. So we made the whole quiz with a lot of series of questions. Just let the page load up. Yeah, so you can see there are some, we asked them to fill up their some of their details, their email address, and their mobile, the date they were giving the test. And then we made a separate section where we had the test questions which started, and then they would answer the test. Now we had about, so in this option called as responses, you come to know how many people actually participated. So over 3 days, we had about 679 people who participated in this. We stopped accepting responses after that time so that we don't have more people answering simply at all. And in the summary chart, we are able to directly get this chart as an insight of the average scores that people were scoring through this test. The median was found to be around 34. People, what questions they answered, what scores they got. Okay, you can actually have a look at all your students' scores. Now, as I said, you can either give them the scores manually or let it go immediately after they submit the test. So manually, what happens is once you finish giving the quiz, you got to come and click this option, release scores, that immediately emails them their scores. But by the time you would wait for this, the students would nag you down. So might as well let them get the scores as immediately that they submit the quiz. And student details and everything come in. Now, coming to the questions, this is how it looks. So in the first question, are out of the 679 people who participated, 477 people marked this option, which was the right one. People who marked the wrong options were highlighted here. You see this? So we can actually understand what people are highlighting as different options for their answers. Okay. And we can actually see the kind of the way the class average, like a kind of a polling system, how our polls work. Same way, this is quiz that actually shows you what are your students understanding, how many scored in a certain way. Now, you can go to individual, you can also go to a particular child's paper, and let's say we go to let me take a paper which is done let's say by myself. I was giving it a trial, and as I was answering this test, I was able to apply the correct answers, and you can see I got 2 out of 2 marks here. But in case there was a wrong one, I purposely put wrong ones when we were making it to see how it comes. So it gave me a 0, and it showed me what wrong the student marked, what is the correct answer, and also the feedback. And the students will get something like this. If I add certain explanatory feedbacks after each answer, once they submit the form, they can also get that explanation of why this answer was selected in a particular way, why this was the right answer alone and not the other options. You can always give an explanation to your MCQs as well. So in this is one of the ways in which people can actually get their responses. And that's it from the forms end. Just in case you want to make this as a quiz assignment from classroom, create quiz assignment. Now, since you all know what's a quiz assignment, put the title. As I said, we were making the one on the brain. I put the title. Click on this. It directly opens a Google form, this time directly as a quiz. So you do not need to go to the settings and quiz and see, it's already on because you have already said you want to do it as a quiz. Put your initial details, the rest of the options remain the same. Just one small thing that Marzusa has also used is you can add a video. If you have a video, you can actually add a video, as we have seen in YouTube also before. Let's say I put chemistry and I search for a video in chemistry. I can always click on the link, let's say introduction to basic introduction to this, and this video is now seen here. So students can see the video and then answer questions. So suppose if you have made a video and put it onto your channel on YouTube, you can put that video here and ask them a series of questions. So they watch the video and answer your questions. And with this, I have finished on the concept of forms. So I'll just stop sharing and we can take up some few questions, and then I can just give you a little poll. And yeah.
Yes, Kyle. So I'll ask questions on their behalf and you can answer them. Once we have created a test questions, can we shuffle them?
Test
Tanuja?
question. Yes, you can always shuffle.
Yeah,
the
so
question.
Kyle showed you
just
how
click
you
the
can
option.
shuffle the
Yes.
questions. Yes, there's an option. There's an option to shuffle the multiple choice options within a question, and there's also an option to questions as
Yeah.
is. Okay, so in the multiple, so the how to shuffle multiple choice options is just go to the each question and say shuffle options. There is an option
Shuffle
there.
options.
Yes. Okay, and of course you can shuffle the questions also. So no two people see the same questions on the screen at the same time.
Yeah.
How to set shuffle order after basic information. Kyle, just quickly go through it and show where the shuffle option comes again. Just share your screen.
Correct. Yes,
And
I'm just sharing my screen.
so question numbers do not come because Google Forms does not number your questions. Okay, so there is no numbering to your questions. If you number your questions in the text as 1, 2, 3, 4, that will pop up. But by definition, Google doesn't shuffle your questions. So Kyle will just show you where the option for shuffle is.
One.
In presentation.
Shuffle question order.
Yes.
And no, they're not giving me the shuffle.
No, options I'll show you. I'll show you options. Yeah. Go click save. So this shuffle questions order will shuffle the questions. This, click save on this.
But there is,
and I'll show you the option.
Click what?
It's not here. It's not here. It's in the question itself. So click save.
Okay, in the question itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go to an MCQ question that you created.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Any MCQ question. Yes. So click on the question, come right at the bottom and click the 3 dots to the right hand side, right at the bottom of the question. Yes.
Bottom of the question.
Next to required. There's,
okay. Oh yeah.
Next to required here. So here you can see shuffle option order. So what it does is, even if 2 people get the same question, the options are shuffled.
Will be shuffled.
This is how you shuffle options in an MCQ or a multi-choice question. These are only available for 2. And the option to shuffle questions is up on top. So
that is in the settings.
Yeah, that is in the settings. Yes.
And in presentation, shuffle question order and save.
Practice assignment, screen not visible. Okay. Yeah. So Santosh, so I hope that is answered. How does the evaluation for the diagram of leave take place in a quiz? So in case, Rekha ma'am, in case if you have a diagram that needs evaluation, you may not be able, unless it's an MCQ and it's a cut and dry answer which you can pre-answer, like given the answer key, you might have to manually mark it. And that's perfectly fine. You can manually mark a question after the student has answered, and then upgrade the marks and then make the marks visible as Kyle showed you, publish the marks.
Release the scores. Yeah.
See the marks immediately. Release the scores after the exam, after you're done with the evaluation. You need not click on release marks immediately. So manual marking is possible. Yeah, so Sanjay says, yeah. How do you send the link? Yes, that's a good one. So Kyle, just go down.
How do you send the link? Yes, I'll just show you all that also. Yeah. Right. That is one thing. Yes. So when you want to share this link, you have to click this option called send. And you can either send it as an email or you can click on the second one that gives it you as a link. Now this link is too huge, so you can always say a shortened URL. It gives you a very small, comfortable one. And you can always copy this and paste it onto any WhatsApp chats or to some, you can always put it to different emails which you want to send to your students. And normally we always have a WhatsApp group with our students, so we can always paste it onto the WhatsApp group with our students. I hope that answers the question on sending.
Yeah. Okay. So somebody else, I think Santosh sir himself had asked the question, after shuffling, email addresses come in between and how to avoid it. So there is a way to avoid it. So this is something that I was going to talk about, shuffle questions. Unless you're giving an MCQ question type, I would not recommend you use shuffle questions because it shuffles the entire set of questions. So if you ask name and all of those, they also get shuffled. So the way to avoid that is, Kyle, just go to your form and show them how to create a section. So the sectioning of your form prevents the shuffling of questions. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. So when we click on this,
Kyle,
we created this section. So you click this add section. So when we add a section, we get this section. So the shuffle works for this section. We can select.
Yeah. Correct. So you can basically, what you can do is put your information that you need from the student in section 1, like his
this is in the section 1, the information.
the information, what's his status, class, roll number, whatever you need to ask the person. And the questions that you're asking for evaluation can go to another section. So you can start as saying the quiz proper, or
yeah, we have this test
the
and then this
quiz and
starts. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Name the section. And when you say shuffle, the questions in the quiz get shuffled. So the way also to differentiate is Google Forms, if you do not mark your questions, will shuffle everything. But if you put marks to your questions, if you give an answer key to your questions, then it knows that these with marks are questions and those without marks are not questions. And it will shuffle only the one with marks.
Only the marks.
Okay. Yeah. Also, the shuffling is a good option if you know how to make sections. And very honestly, if you know how to use Google Form very well, and this we are not going to deal today with, you can jump between sections and make the form conditional. So for example, if you're taking a survey and a student answers yes, then to a question, then they can answer a separate set of questions. And if they answer no, you can make them answer a separate set of questions. All this can be programmed in the same form. There are plenty YouTube videos for it. So learn how to use sections effectively. It's called section jumping. Section jumping can only be done with MCQ type of questions. It cannot be done with long answers, obviously, because long answers are not specific in their answers. MCQs and multi-choice questions allow you the option of section jumping. It's a very powerful tool, and many have used it very effectively for surveys. So you don't really have to pay a company to create a survey form for you. You can use Google Forms, which is absolutely free, and we've probably covered about half of what are the utilities of Google Form. We leave you to explore the remaining half. Please explore it, and you'll really enjoy how Google Form can be a very powerful tool, right from surveys to information gathering to exam conduction, everything. Kai, you want to take the poll?
Yeah, I'll just take the poll. We'll have it for 2 minutes. So there's just a short poll on this Google Forms. Yeah. Another minute. Okay, so should we end the poll?
Yeah. And Conrad can even answer Tanuja ma'am's question.
Okay.
How you connect certificates with quizzes. Ma'am, I'll just show you my screen and show you the extensions. but
Certify
an extension called Certify M. Okay, you can download it and then you can read it up from their website. It's very easy. They have got stock certificates which you can take, or you can create your own. And Kyle has a video on it. He may be able to post it online, and maybe you have a video, right, Kyle, on it? Certify him, and maybe he can kind of share it. But apart from Santosh, Shrisha ma'am had a question. Before that, Santosh sir had a question. During responding, when learner uses two different email IDs, how to avoid it? If the email IDs are different, sir, there is no way to avoid it, but you can permit one response per email ID. There is an option in the settings in the form, enable only one response. But if a person uses two different email IDs, sir, unfortunately you can't. So the way to do it is ask for the name also. And if the name appears twice, you can delete, but you can't block a name. You can block an email ID because Google Form recognizes email IDs, unfortunately. In your response, you can delete the response if the same one has answered with two different email IDs. Okay. Shrisha ma'am, will the responses for quiz come in an Excel sheet? They will come like the way Kyle showed you in the form as answers, and they'll also come in an Excel sheet. We'll show you an Excel sheet of the responses in a while.
Yes. Should I show that?
Yeah, you can show that.
I'll show that. How do you answer the questions? I'll show that.
Forms, Shrisha ma'am. Marzu, you want to answer that? You'll have to make a form with where students write in their UID and roll number, ma'am, and it can be put in Excel. Officially, there is no app in Google Form that takes attendance. Marzu, you want to anything else?
No, basically their roll numbers can serve as an attendance for you. So that's not an issue. But there is no separate attendance. Your conferencing apps have attendance. Okay.
Yeah, so Google Meet has an attendance. Yes.
Correct.
Zoom has it in a paid version. The reports in Zoom give you attendance. It's basically a report, but it serves as an attendance. Google Forms, you can just ask two questions, maybe name of the student and the roll number or unique ID or registration number, whatever, and make both the questions mandatory along with maybe if you want the email ID. That's done. The student fills it, submits it, the attendance done, it's on an Excel sheet.
Yeah. So if you see this, once we've got this responses, there's this option here. You can, you can always click on that and that always opens it as a Google Sheet. And you can always get this whole thing tabulated here, like the date, the time that the student has done it, the scores they have got, the name of the participant, all their details, and the kind of options they have answered. When you scroll through it, it is a whole massive Excel sheet that will give us all their answers that they have marked. So in this way, we can actually come to know what they have marked and the details of the participants as well. So yes, that's from the Excel sheet point of view. Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
Kyle, you've got any extensions on the form? Then you can show any of these Certify M or something is added to this form.
To this one, Certify M was connected. Yeah, I can show.
Is it still connected? Then just show the extension list.
Yeah, I'll just show that.
Just show the extension list. Don't worry about whether it.
So what I did was we had this options of add-ons, and from add-ons I selectively asked for Certify M. So when I click here now, it directly gives me Certify M here and asks me to show the Certify M controls. So to this quiz, as we had 679 people taking part for this quiz, we couldn't really give 679 people certificates. So what we did is on Certify M, we are able to give all of them the moment they fill the certificate, the quiz, they immediately get the certificate. So this column up here opens and we are able to select what score. So everybody above 60% was able. You can select 0 if you want everybody to get a certificate. We can select 80% if you want it to be a little more tougher. You can select whatever percentage you want. Then as a part of G Suite, we can send up to about 1500 certificates in a single day. Otherwise, it's a little less. I think it's somewhere around 200 or 100 or something. So here we can send about
100. It's 100.
So we can send up to 1500 emails in a single day. Now, if you see here, there is a certificate. There are already known templates of certificates. Otherwise, you can always use a custom template. You can always make a certificate on Word or Adobe or anywhere, any other platform that you have. Keep it as a PNG or a JPEG format. Add it to a PowerPoint in Google Slides. So that day we had spoken about Google Slides. You put it into a PowerPoint in Google Slides, and where the name section is, we have to just put 2 curly brackets full name, 2 curly brackets. So their name will just directly come there. Click on select file, and I can select from my templates in Google Slides, whichever I want. So I can just say a certificate I want here, particular one like this, or any certificate that I want to give. Once I select that certificate, it will say select. You can say add certificate, save the changes, and that certificate will come here. So I already have this option here of certificate. So that one is already there. Click link to exam, and now it's certification is on. So even if the students give the exam, they can still get the certificate, but I can right now, since the quiz is shut, I can turn it off. And once this is done, the certificate is attached. And that code is, I'll just put it in the chat how that code looks. It's just curly brackets, full name, sorry, brace brackets, yeah. And so I'll just put it to everyone by mistake. I've sent it only to one.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the code, and that's how you put the name to the certificate directly. And that's it from certificates.
Yeah. So in a similar fashion, somebody asked for time limits. You get an extension called Timify Me. You also basically have another extension block responses. So you need not monitor your certificate every day. You get an extension called form limiter. You can limit the form after it reaches a particular number of responses, or after it has reached a particular, there are sections in that which can work as form limiters. So you can decide that. So you don't have to be monitoring the form. The form will automatically switch off after you've got, say, 100 responses. Okay. So I'll just share the results of the poll, and Kyle can just take the questions, and then we'll move on to the next section. Marzu will talk about the Jamboard next. So yeah, Kyle, you want to share the results? I mean, sorry,
yeah,
I shared the, you can just tell them. Yeah.
So yes, Google form can be used for making a quiz true, as many of you all have got it right. There's just one person who's written it false, but it can be used in making a quiz, as I just showed you all. Can one embed study material into a Google form? Yes, I also showed you that we can put a YouTube link, and once the students can see the video and then study, so they are also studying and then they are answering the quiz. Therefore, study material like that can be embedded into a Google form. And right enough, everybody has put the correct answer for this. Can an image-based option be placed in a Google form? Yes, it can be pasted. That everyone has answered. Whoever's answered the poll, all have answered it correctly. So that's, I think, fine, Conrad. We can this thing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So
you can take on with the next section.
If there are any more questions, otherwise, you keep your questions coming in. Marzu can start with Jamboard, and we can move to XP.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, Jamboard is a whiteboard which can be used online. So when you're using your conferencing apps, so here is the Jamboard symbol, which you also saw it when I picked those 9 dots that they also showed. So in Zoom, you do get a whiteboard, but say in Google Meets or any other conferencing app, you do not get a whiteboard, but you can use this online whiteboard available. So you can share your screen and keep it ready in another screen. Now this is quite an interactive one. You can select your ink, which color you want to write with. So I've selected blue. I can select a maroon color. So I can write whatever I want. If I need to delete something, quickly delete it off. Okay, it can even delete off your entire screen. And you can put in a sticky note. So say maybe for my class, what I do is when I want to give the students a numerical. So what I do is I keep the Jamboard ready with a numerical. So calculate the rate of a reaction. Okay, something like that. Some dot, whatever the question, click here and put it as a very big question in front of the students. So I can resize this. Okay. So once all the students have read the question, I minimize it, and then I can start solving it using my pen itself. So like I can write the formula k is equal to 2.303 by t, say log of a upon a minus x. Then what I can do is once I've written something, I can even annotate. So this is the annotation available. So say I've written x plus y is equal to z. I'm explaining this. So your x plus y is equal to z. So it gives you annotations. And also another good part is like I can clear off the screen. I can go to the next screen and bring in an image. Now, suppose I want to teach students Carnot cycle. So I've kept it ready on my iPad. I can select an image, and now I can maximize it, show it to the students. I can annotate on it. So suppose I select a green colored pen, I can put arrows. I can tell them this is step number 1. Okay, this is step 2. What is step 2? It is, say, something like expansion of a gas, which is adiabatic. Okay, so these kind of things can be done very easily. And then apart from that, you can annotate again and explain things to the students. If someone gives a correct answer, there are some good stickers available. You can select that and say, okay, you are correct. Okay, so multiple stickers available, and what you can even delete it off. So once you decide to delete, there is a dustbin available at the bottom. You can delete it off. Now you want to resize your graph because you want to maybe carry out a step-by-step derivation for your students. So you can change step 1 is thing, write questions. Okay, so you can carry out. So you can. This is a very interactive screen available to you. Okay, transfer, like suppose I want to move out somewhere. So you can select this here. Step 2 goes down somewhere else. Okay, so you can move. Say maybe it's a formula. You want to reuse it. You can reuse it. You can even duplicate this. I want to show the graph again with some different kind of markings. Now I want to talk about, say, this. So I'll duplicate it. I got it here. Now on the duplicate one, I can again start annotating. Right. So as and when, and now the good is I can go back to the earlier screen. I can come back to this. I can select the next screen. So here I have my third screen, and the other side of it is that once a student need not write down anything, here there is an option to share. So I can share what I want. Suppose to share this email address, Conrad's email address. So here it is. Okay, here is Kyle's email address. I'll send it to him. So this will reach to all your students and they can definitely use it. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, I'm using this JamBoard with my Apple Pencil. Okay, so I'm on my iPad and I'm using Apple Pencil. How will you use if you are working on a laptop? So that is where now Kyle is going to come in, and Kyle is going to show you how the JamBoard or any other whiteboard can be worked on with XP Pen. Okay, so there are many brands available. One of a very popular brand is Wacom, and now this is the new brand which is XP Pen. Okay. How to enter JamBoard? So see, I have entered. So there's a question by Khare ma'am. How to enter the JamBoard? A very simple way to enter the JamBoard for me was, because I'm on my iPad, it's a special app. So I'll show it again. I'm sharing my screen and I reach the JamBoard app. However, for you, if you're on your laptop, then definitely use your, so this is JamBoard app. Okay, I'll go back to it. You're the JamBoard app. You can use this right at the bottom here. Okay, click on this. But if you are on Google, you can definitely go to those, revisit those 9 dots, and where your Google Classroom app is. Similarly, there is a JamBoard app also. So you can use that. Okay. So Kyle, would you like to explain XP Pen, how it will work?
Yes. Okay. So XP Pen
So
is
now
looking
Kyle
something
can
like
either
this.
show you can either use it on JamBoard or the whiteboard itself.
Yeah. So first I'll just show you all what's this XP Pen. So if you all can click on my image, you will see my image a little bigger. So on XP Pen, this is the kind of trackpad that you get with the XP Pen logo written right here. It's a little imaged, reversed image once. Yeah, okay, fine. It'll mirror the image. So anyways, it's something as thin as this. Oh yeah, one second. Hold on. Sorry, the mic was on. Yeah. Okay, so sorry for that. The voice was not coming, I think, clearly. Yeah, so now this is the XP Pen trackpad that we have. A very thin tablet like device it is. Very comfortable. This one is a very small one, which is a 4-inch by 3-inch trackpad. We even have the 6x4. You can get that available. However, Wacom is a way better brand than XP Pen, but so XP Pen is a little less expensive compared to the Wacom tablets. Now I'm going to connect this to my laptop via a simple USB port. Okay, and along with this XP Pen, I also do get is this pencil. Okay, this pencil comes with a very nice tip, easy to write. It has got 2 buttons on the top here for you to make your selections like a mouse. And as I am writing on this, my cursor is currently moving on screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the whiteboard. And let's say you're in a class, you are sharing this whiteboard with your students. We make the whiteboard a full screen board for the students to, so that you can write very comfortably. And now let's say I want to start writing. I've selected this option of draw, simple select, and I will write here, hi. Welcome to this session. I know my handwriting looks a little bad, I think I would say, since many of you are teachers. You would obviously say this is a very bad handwriting, but however, it takes a little time and practice to get a very good handwriting on the XP Pen, and this has come after a lot of improvement. So, but the very good thing is if you are a maths teacher or if you're a biology teacher and you need drawings and content of numbers, you cannot always sit typing because we are not so fast in typing. So what I would say is, like, let's say we were teaching a topic like simultaneous equations, you can always write 3x plus 7y is equal to 14. I'm just taking random something. And 2x minus 8y is equal to 16. So something like this, you can have your 2 equations, and very comfortably you have written these 2 equations down. We can easily clear the board and probably make a section demarcation here, write certain numbers that we want here, do a certain diagrammatic representation. If as a chemist, if I'm doing something associated with a beaker, we can show this, show how the solution is here. You can say this is a solvent, and I want to add some solute to it, some salt or solute to this. So we can add terms like this and show them how we are doing these things, give certain explanations, show some derivations, or anything that we want to show. We can very easily write, even if it is in terms of a drawing, you want to draw some mountains and, you know, teach children drawing and painting and some scenes, sceneries of trees, hills, mountains. You can very comfortably teach children these things. And this XP Pen has allowed me. However, the only difference is this being a very small 4x3 restricts my area to its usage, but still I have configured this to be matching my whole screen. Now the XP Pen has very comfortably allowed me to actually have this little bump at the end here, which you see. So I can very comfortably place my hand and use the cursor on the rest of it to write, as you can see my hand moving. So my hand is here, it's not touching this trackpad or making any kind of disturbance with the mouse movement. So this has very comfortably allowed me to use these areas. If you have a Windows system, as even Conrad sir has a Windows system, he said he had to just directly connect the HP system and the drive auto connected this system to itself, because they come with a built-in application. Otherwise, it just updates according to the requirement of the drive. But however, in the MacBook, I needed to install the application from the XP Pen website. So this XP Pen is, on the box, the model number is written. This is a G430S. There are different model numbers. You have to just look on the box, see the model number. On Google, always put down that you want the application to run this XP Pen on your system. You can just write down the name, that XP Pen G430S for my device in that case, and say I want the application for that. And it will allow you to download the application. I will just share my screen. So if there's anyone who wants to understand what is this application about, the application is here, the Pen Tablet Settings application. Once you have this, it allows you to have certain configurations in terms of the angle with which you want to hold the pen. So it doesn't allow me to go, you can see the screen, there is an angle input, there's a monitor screening size. So I've kept it to the whole screen. The tablet area that you want to use, I'm using the whole area of my tablet. I'm not using a certain section. I want to be comfortable over this whole thing. Anyways, it's a small piece, so I would just like to use this whole thing on the everything. And then they're just given some details about the model and the version of your. Then also there's a work area orientation, the angle that you want to write. So you can be very comfortable at a 270 angle versus a 90 or a 180, whatever angle you are comfortable with. So I've kept it at the maximum angle possible. Another thing you can very closely look at is, as I'm moving my pen, my cursor on screen also moves very comfortably. I don't need to touch this, it works from the air as well. So it allows me to very comfortably use these kind of technologies. And with that, that's all about the XP Pen. And similar way is in which the Wacom tablet works. I think Marju, so there were a few people having questions about the costing. We could introduce them to our dealer and also give them some ideas.
Yes. So tomorrow we'll float a Google form. If you are interested in buying either Wacom or XP Pen, I will put a Google form in the chat box as well as in the Telegram group. So Kyle has got a smaller version, but the 6x4 size is available for the XP Pen is available for 4,100, and the Wacom pen tablet is available for 4,500. So same size. As Kyle said earlier, Wacom is a little better brand than XP Pen. I mean, Wacom has been in this field for about last 12 to 15 years, whereas pen tablet is XP Pen is a new entrant. It has entered like in last about 3 to 4 years. Okay, so we'll float that Google form. If you are interested, then fill it up. The dealer will get it delivered to your house, and you can definitely pay the courier guy who comes to deliver it to you. So it will be basically cash on delivery system. Okay, so let us know if you are interested. We'll definitely float that form. Okay, and we'll make available both Wacom as well as XP Pen, a little higher size than, bigger size than what Kyle has shown you all, so that you can write more comfortably. Okay.
Okay. So any questions about the XP Pen?
Santosh sir has a question. Kyle.
Yes. One
second. XP Pen will work on blank side of PPT.
See, in terms of working on a Microsoft system, if you have the latest Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, Excel 2019, in that one, there's an option called as Draw. Now the current one which I'm using which I'm using is a Microsoft 2016, and I've not got the update because of a little operating system issue. But if you have the 2019 Microsoft update, there's an option called Draw. And if you click on that option, Draw, and then use your XP Pen, you can very comfortably draw on that. I have used it on a 2019 Microsoft also. The option Draw works very comfortably. You can always use it over there. Otherwise, you cannot use it on the 2016 or the older Microsoft versions. Yeah, that's it.
Aditya has 2 comments.
Yeah, on the Mac, we have to download the application. However, I've not tried if you have got the 10th generation i3, i5 system, which I should be trying in some time. So if you have, then I can always give you an answer on that as well. So if you need to download the application on the Mac still, I will let you know about that. Yeah. Yes.
Aditya has 2 comments. Aditya is saying that Wacom is available on Amazon, right? So Aditya, it is available on Amazon, but we have a direct dealer who only deals with Wacom pen tablets. Okay, he's like a professional dealer. And if you buy from Amazon, it'll give you a 1 year of guarantee or warranty. Whereas if you buy from this dealer, he ensures 1.5 year warranty. Okay. So his name is Rushabh. He delivers stuff to our college, all the gadgets that we require. And he definitely promises a little more, 1.5 times guarantee period. Okay. Then Aditya also says that my Wacom works even on older versions. So yes, some of like on the Office version, some of the Office version is already like I think from 2013 onwards, it can manage it. Yes, not just 2019 version. Then Vatsala ma'am has a question. I have a Lenovo laptop. Does the pen can the pen be used? Yes, you can connect the pen via a USB port and use it. Also, Wi-Fi versions are available. However, they are very expensive.
They'll be around 25
It'll
to
be
30,000.
minimum like about 12,000 rupees. Yeah, so not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah,
can it be used to annotate? Yes, Sirisha ma'am.
Yes.
Definitely, it can be used to annotate.
See, for those who have a Windows laptop, the moment, and if you have Windows OS 10, okay, I do not know about OS 7. I have an OS 7 laptop, but I've not plugged the pen tablet into that because currently Windows doesn't support OS 7 and I don't use it for any of my online courses because most of the softwares are non-compatible. Also, that is a 32-bit system, so there's an issue. But in the Windows 10, all I had to do was plug my pen tablet for the first time using the USB. And Windows has a software called as Windows Ink Workshop. Okay, INK Workshop. So it's called Windows Ink Workspace. Sorry, not Workshop. Windows Ink Workspace, and that connects to all your writing devices, and it basically recognizes the XP Pen tablets on its own. Of course, there are settings in that Windows Ink Workspace. When you connect your pen tablet, that kind of pops up in your bottom toolbar. And if you click on it, you get options like a whiteboard and a full screen snip. So Windows gives you a whiteboard if you don't want to use JamBoard or if you don't want to use Zoom's whiteboard. There is an option that comes on the Windows OS 10, and you don't literally have to download the software. As long as you've got an authentic variant or a licensed version of Windows 10, it automatically updates itself whenever you're connected to the net. Okay. On Mac, Shamam, Kyle will tell you.
Yeah, so as I said, with respect to the Mac, once you buy the device, an XP Pen or a Wacom tablet, on the box, whatever is the model number, on Google, you can just go to the XP Pen or Wacom tablet page and say, in the search, you can always put for this model number and say you want the software for your Mac. And once you download it, it automatically installs into your Mac. And that's the pen settings application that is there, as I showed it just now. You can set your configuration, your area. It gives you the freedom to make your own selections as per how you want to do it. So yeah, that's the only thing with respect to a Mac. That's a little extra work in the Mac, I feel, but I do not know if it's a new 10th generation operating systems. We'll have to work on that with Catalina coming into play. So we'll have to work on that in a Mac system. Yeah.
Yeah, Marzu, do you want to take Shirisha ma'am's question? Janvi's question. Which of the options provided can be used for Windows laptop and iPad? I think iPad, Marzu, has a pen of its own, right?
Yeah, iPad cannot be connected. See, these are all pen tablets are USB connectors. iPad does not have a USB connection. You'll have to get an extra extension for that, and then you can do it. But iPad has its own pencil available. Okay, so you can go to the shop and buy that particular pencil and use it on the iPad, and it is very efficient as compared to a pen tablet. Yeah, Apple Pencil is expensive, but the performance that it gives you is absolutely phenomenal.
See, the current pencil which is there is the 3rd generation pencil, which will be around 15,000 only for the pencil on an iPad, which is applicable only to the current pros. Whereas the 2nd and the 1st generation can be applied even to a Mini 4, not Mini smaller, Mini 4, Air 3 and above, all the iPads. And they range about 6 to 10,000, somewhere between that range. So you can always look for at least the 2nd generation pencil, and all the Apple pencils on iPads are very smooth. And Marzu sir is always using one, and he's written on the annotations with that itself. So, yeah.
Yes. I've been using my Apple Pencil since past 5 years, and it is doing really well. Okay. Yes, it is about, Asha ma'am. Yes, you're correct. It's about 8,000 that time 5 years back. I bought it for 9,000. Absolutely no regrets. Fantastic performance.
Yeah. Today the same one is about 6,000 because the new
and I use it
pencils
in
have
my
come in. So yeah.
college also, college lectures. Yes, I use it even in my college lectures. I save a lot of time by putting the numericals on a PowerPoint, and I solve it live in the classroom on the iPad rather than on the blackboard. So it is projected on the screen, and it saves me the time of dictating a question to them or writing the question on the blackboard. And at the same time, it also saves me the problem of erasing the blackboard. So it saves me a lot of time. So my time efficiency in the classroom definitely increases due to this Apple Pencil. Yes, Kyle.
I'll just
Now,
give the poll related to the XP pen thing, so we could do that. Another a minute. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've just given you all a poll for this. Yeah.
Since it is black in color, how can one notice what is written? Santosh sir, anyway, whatever you write on the pen tablet cannot be seen by you on the tablet. You have to look at it on the screen any which ways. So the pen leaves no mark on the tablet as such. Okay. And you will get a hang of it. Some of us who have used it, I know Marzu and I bought a pen tablet way back in 2012. We purchased a Wacom one then, and I've used it all the way in my genetics class very effectively till my college invested in whiteboards in 2016, and then I switched to that device. But I got the new XP pen and for my wife, and she basically learned it in about 2 sittings with her students. And so she's a pro on the XP pen right now. It doesn't take much time. It just needs a little practice, maybe 2 to 3 days of work practice of an hour each, and you're done with the XP pen. Yes, so we have 17 who have answered.
50 seconds or so.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay, so we should end the poll. It's already past 2 minutes, so we'll end the poll right now. And okay, so definitely yes, the XP pen, I would share the results with you all. The XP pen Wacom tablets are connected via a USB port in case it's at a lower ranged one. And if it's a wireless one, then it is obviously an expensive one, but definitely not an HDMI port. In order to configure, you need an application. Yes, in some systems you need an application. As even Conrad sir said, that in his, he has a drive system that's already there. So that allows him to actually connect his XP pen more comfortably. So an application would be required for you to always have these trackpads connected. JamBoard is a Google application. It's a yes. There are few people who have put no. And can one add sticky notes to JamBoard? Marzu sir did say it is a yes. You can add sticky notes to a JamBoard. So with that, I will end this. And I think, Conrad sir, you can now take on some of the extensions, and I leave it on for you from there. Great. Conrad sir?
Okay, fine. Yes, we'll do that. So what we'll do is we will pick up a few extensions that you can use in Google. Remember, these extensions are not necessarily only for Google. They can be, so extensions are something that you add to your browser. Okay, so the browser you have could be Microsoft Edge. Please remember, if any of you are using Internet Explorer, it's outdated. Microsoft itself has progressed to Microsoft Edge. So I would rather you kind of move in that direction, get your browsers updated to Microsoft Edge. So Microsoft Edge is the latest browser that is there. Of course, there is Google Chrome, to which the entire browser-based assembly system works. And there is the open source browsers in either Opera Mini, that's Opera, or there is Mozilla Firefox, okay? The most sought after browser in the open source spectrum. But whatever you do, there are Google Chrome extensions that make your life very, very simple and very, very easy. And I'll just introduce you to a few of those extensions. So, Kyle, can I share my screen? Oh yeah, it is on. Okay. So I'll just share my screen with you. Please let me know if you can. Can you see my screen? Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. So this is my my email, but if you look on, I'll just minimize my browser slightly because otherwise the top part will be, okay. So can you see these on the right hand top corner here? Okay. These 8 unique marks that have come up on my right hand top corner. I basically have, so what I have done, what I was referring to is these. What I have done is I have got a couple of Google extensions, Google Chrome extensions that I use to make my life a little easy on working around with Google Chrome and a few other apps of Google that I use. Okay. So one of the Chrome extensions that I would like to share with you is an extension called Share to Classroom. So when you click on the Share to Classroom, currently I am logged in with my Xavier's account. So this is my xaviers.edu account. So what this Share to Classroom does is it lists all my classrooms in xaviers.edu. Okay. Either classrooms that I am teaching. So I am a teacher in these many classrooms and I am a student in these 2 classrooms. So all the classrooms that I have access to, it lists. So why is this Share to Classroom a very good extension? And I'll show you where you can get these extensions in a while. But why is this a very good extension? Say you're reading something on the internet and you don't want to go to the trouble of copy pasting the link and then opening your classroom and sort of, posting this in your classroom at a later point. The easiest thing you can do is just click on Share to Classroom. And the moment you do Share to Classroom on that web page, it will list out all the classrooms you are in. And all you've got to do is click on the classroom you want to share that information with. So either just click the classroom directly, it will go to the home page of the classroom, or click on the arrow. So say for example, I click on this arrow, it will open up the classroom window. It tells me where in the classroom do you want to push it to students? Do you want to create an assignment? Do you want to make an announcement or ask a question? Whatever you choose, you say push, it will be pushed to students. So these are the stuff basically I have never pushed anything in this classroom to students, so I'll just push that back. But share this extension with your students so they receive your links. The only catchphrase here is your students also need to have this extension on their browser. If they do, it gets uploaded directly on their browser, or it gets uploaded in your classroom and students can have access to it on their classroom. The reason why this is a very useful tool is if you read something on the web that's very pertinent and you want your students to get information on this, this is one of the very good extensions called Share to Classroom that you can basically just use and push stuff onto your classroom. I've got a few other extensions. The second extension that I don't have here, I have an equivalent of that, basically is called Take a Note, but there's another good extension called Mote, M-O-T-E. Now, Mote allows you to record small snippets of audio and push it to either your classroom or on any live interactive session that you are with. It's basically useful for classroom, but you can push it anywhere. You can even incorporate it in your Google Docs, in your Google Slides that you share, even in your forms. You can push in this audio recording and share it with students. So Marzu has used Mote. I have used another similar extension called Talk to Voice, and they are basically the same thing. They give you a small extension on your browser homepage, and you click on it and you can record on the go. It records an audio and it's very useful if you want to share short recordings with your students. The third extension that all of us probably should have, and one I would recommend, is an extension called Screencastify. Okay. Now, remember that video that was shared to you when you joined Google Classroom, an introduction to Google Classroom. There was a small video that was shared. Marzu had prepared that video on Screencastify. So what it does is it records your screen. So this is Screencastify. This icon here, and you can see it coming up there. Screencastify is a screen video recording software. It allows you various features, like it obviously records your screen, but if you want, you can embed your webcam. So I will, can you see Screencastify, Kyle, on the screen, or would I have to share it again?
Sure, it is seen, you can see it.
You can see it, great. So if you can see Screencastify, that basically you can either record a browser tab, you can record your desktop, or you can record from a webcam. A webcam recording basically means it only records your face and nothing else. But if it's a browser, then you can enable webcam and you get an option to select. I've got only one webcam right now, so it's the integrated webcam. If you're talking, then you can either record your microphone on and you will live record what you're saying, or you can switch off your microphone and then do a voiceover, whichever is suitable for you. But for this voiceover, you would then need another video recording, video editing app or a video editing software. If you don't have one, Screencastify is good to go. You can click on record. It will basically start recording your screen. And when you click stop, it will basically take you and give you an option of downloading the video or uploading it to cloud. And you can then choose the option you prefer. And it will then record, and you can download the recording, save it on your desktop, and then push it to your students. Screencastify is very good as an extension for short, limited period video recordings that you want to enable people to do. There is one more extension that I'll talk about when I go to Google Meets, because this is a very specific Google Meet extension called Meet Attendance. You will notice here, this icon is grayed out. Okay. There's a reason why it is grayed out, and this icon will eventually basically work only when that particular extension is on, or that particular system setting is on, which the app can work in. So basically three very important extensions that you could have in your classroom. One is Share to Classroom, an extension that will help you record anything and everything on screen, or record you explaining something in a short video clipping and project it to your students, is Screencastify, and Emote is to record small audio clips. Okay, so these are the three things that as extensions. How do you get to extensions? It's very simple. Click on a new tab and just type in Google Chrome extensions. Okay, so don't worry, Chrome extensions for Android is not necessary. You just type Chrome extensions, and here is it. This is the website you need to go. Chrome Web Store extensions for Google Chrome. Now you also get Chrome extensions for Microsoft Edge, and there are also Chrome extensions for Mozilla Firefox. Okay, so you can download same or similar extensions for the browsers you use. If you're a Chrome browser, these are the extensions. You need not work on all extensions. How do you know whether an extension is good or no? Obviously, simple, look at the star rating and read a few reviews of the extensions that people have. Okay, so there is a Zoom scheduler extension. For those of you who are into Netflix, there is a Netflix extension. If you're worried about grammar corrections, there is a Grammarly extension. Loom is a very good extension for video messaging, just like Screencastify is for students. There are thousands of, for those who are maths and stats people, there is Equatio, very brilliant, a very good extension. Of course, there are many other extensions of the same kind. Some few entertainment center games. I'm sure some of you all would have heard about House Party, which took a craze during the lockdown, at least the initial periods. So there are a lot of extensions that are available on Chrome that make your life simple and easy, and basically helps you get through, just kind of making your interface with the world outside a little more helpful. So this is about the extensions in Chrome in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I will take them in and try to answer them quickly before we move down to quickly before we move down to just one small attribute that is left called Google Meets and basically the video conferencing apps per se. If any questions, please ask. I will just push on to Google Meets. I already have a meeting that's scheduled for yesterday, so let me just. Yes, Janvi, are these extensions safe for use? That's why I told you, check the star rating and check whether these extensions have decent reviews. There are some extensions that are newly pushed onto Google and Google hasn't approved of them. So some of these extensions need you. Like for example, Kyle showed you Certify-M and I told you about Timify Me. They require you to log in. If Google has not approved these extensions, Google will block your logins. So that means Google has not yet vetted these extensions and verified them. But by and large, most of these extensions are safe for use. Obviously, they are third-party extensions. Some of them are built by Google, but most of them are third-party extensions. So please read the reviews if you do so, and please check whether Google had a particular extension. If Google doesn't have a policy against an extension, I think you're good to go. For chemistry, I think Briganza ma'am is asking. I think Marzu will be able to answer that better. Marzu or Kyle, are there any extensions for chemistry? Drawing structures
in chemistry?
No,
actually, no. Yeah. Yes,
Marzu. We will show you some nice iPad this
applications.
Yeah, eventually,
like apps, yes. Applications. But, yes, on day after tomorrow.
But Srisha ma'am and Briganza ma'am, you can go out and check and search on Google Chrome, okay, and see if you find something and let us also know, because Marzu mostly uses an iPad, so does Kyle, and so they are very familiar with the iPad environment. I'm not a chemist, I'm a biologist. So for genetics, I basically have other softwares which I use more than Google extensions, because for genetics or softwares give a wholesome experience compared to just an extension. So you can check and let us know. I'm sure there'll be something, but don't always bank on it being the best. Some of these Google Chrome extensions, as I told Janvi, are a little shaky and not that great, and sometimes you could do a better job than the extension. So there are pros and cons to having an extension. Okay, if that is,
and some of the extensions also expire after some time. Like the companies which is making extension says, okay, now we are no longer interested, we are not making enough money. So what may be a good extension 2 years back may not be available to you right now. Okay. So, but then there'll be something new which comes up. So you have to keep yourself updated.
Yeah, Vatsala ma'am, for music, I am not really sure. I had an extension when I was learning the guitar. This was ages ago for Chrome, but I know that there is it's a very funny extension. So since you brought up music, I'll tell you this. There is an extension called Noisily that somebody recommended to me. It's an extension basically that creates noise if you love to work in a noisy atmosphere. It will create any noise you want. Mumbai Railways noise, the raindrops noise, kind of students talking in a classroom noise. It creates that background. And somebody told me this because he said, Conrad, you were a teacher, you'd be so familiar with students' noise around you. I guess it'd be difficult to concentrate in a complete, noise-free room. So here's this extension for you. Since you use extensions, try it out. It actually gives you a big plethora of noises you can use, and especially for some of us who stay in Bombay and are so used to the hustle and bustle that we don't mind that noise and we can still concentrate on it. In fact, sometimes it becomes a stimulus for concentration. That Noisily is a very good extension that I was, and Niranjan sir has got some Indian classical music for iPad. Yes, so there's an iTabla Pro. So you can try out. I've never used music, any extensions, so not really. Yes, these extensions have to be installed. Whoever's the admin, these extensions have to be installed. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute, depending on the speed and processor and RAM that you have, but they have to be installed. It's not like a proper installation setup. It's a very small thing that you just click launch and it launches with an installation. Yeah.
Basically, you have to visit the Chrome store.
Yes. Correct. It is not something that you need like a software installation. It doesn't have an exe file. It doesn't save anything great in your programs. It embeds itself in your Google Chrome. But there is a rider that I will that I will tell you, that please remember, if you have a slow processor, please make sure that you have minimalistic extensions that you're going to use. The more extensions that you use, the slower your browser becomes. So I have an i5, so I can afford about 7 to 10 extensions. If you have an i3, maybe 4 to 5 extensions, but it also depends on your RAM. So don't just say, just because we told you extensions, you can upload as many extensions as you want. They have an impact on running, because the moment you open your browser, all these extensions get loaded at the back end and they'll be using your RAM. So be careful about those, and please install extensions that you're really going to use and effectively use. Okay. Marzu, can I take on Google Meets now, or you want to start with Zoom?
No. Take on Google Meets. Okay. And Zoom maybe will cover some on the last day.
Okay.
Now we have anyway overshot our time by 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So very quickly, this is Google Meets. Okay. Google Meet is like Zoom. Can you, Kyle, just confirm, you can see the screen? Because I have not.
Yes, Conrad.
Yeah. Okay, I've got it now. I've got the message. Yeah.
Yes.
This is my Google Meet, and I'm switching off my microphone in Google Meets, because otherwise you will get an echo, and I'll switch on my camera just so that you can see exactly what is going on. And Google Meets gives you the screen when you click on Google Meets. This is my account into which I'm signing in right now on Google Meets, and it basically says, of course, there's no one right now. I'm starting a new meeting. So you can join now, or you can basically create a brand new meeting and send the link to everybody. So how do you do that? Is, say, for example, this is a meeting that I already created, so I'm joining it again. Join now, and suppose you've created a meeting and you want to send your details to your students or whoever. There are multiple ways in which you can do it. One of the simplest ways is, you see these people's tab here, like you see participants in Zoom. This is a participant list in Google Meet. You click on it and you can add people here. So just click on add people, and this pop-up occurs. You type their name. So there is Marazban here. There are a few people in my organization here. I can just click their names and they will get an invite to this link, and they can click on the link and join in. So please remember, Google Meets is a browser-based app. So you can run it on Edge, you can run it on Microsoft, you can run it on Mozilla, you can run it on Chrome, on Opera, anything. All you need is the link. Click on the link and you're in the meeting. You don't have to install or anything on your desktop. So Zoom also has a browser-based feature, but Zoom also has an application that you can download. Google Meets doesn't have any application. It's an online browser-based video conferencing app. Another way you can send the same details across is, you see, this is the meeting link that is created. I can just copy this link, go to my inbox and share the link with as many people as I want. So that's another way of doing the sharing. The third way of creating a link is, you can create it in the calendar. You can create it on Google Calendar, and Google Calendar automatically gives you a meeting link extension when you add people directly to you add people in your calendar event and they will get the Meet link if you have activated it. So by default, the Meet covers those features up. Okay, so this is Google Meets. I use this extensively for all my video conferencing with my students and my lecture sessions with them. So there are options that say, Zoom is coming in with closed captions, or it has come in for the pro variant, at least with closed captions. And I heard it is coming up with captions for even the free variant. But this is Google Meet's closed captioning system. Ignore the mic warning, because this mic is off and I'm talking, it's sensing that I'm talking. The closed captioning is basically something, so let me try, but the closed captioning is something when your mic is on, it will basically type out whatever. Okay, I hope you don't get a feedback. Yeah, there you can see on your screen. Okay, this is closed captioning. Now, please be very careful. This is okay when you're talking very slowly, or if you have students with disability in your class, it's a good tool. Okay, so students who can't hear can read the closed captioning, but be warned, the closed captioning works on an American, at about 80% of the times it works on an American styled accent. So sometimes some Indian words or some Indian language words which we use in English but are not technically English words, or our accent and our pronunciation is not accurate, it interprets it as some other word. So be kind of careful with that. but closed captioning is available. That's not really a great, I've never used closed captioning in a live class. Then you've got the present now options, which even you see on Zoom. You can present the entire screen. Here, you can also present a tab in Chrome, but this only works for Chrome browsers. Wherein I don't want you to see everything on my Chrome browser. I can only present one particular tab in my browser and it works. Then of course, the other features are, of course, this one has currently, because this is a tool for education, there is no such a concept as a host. There's no concept like a host. Of course, you are the host, and people who do not belong to your organization, if they join the Google Meets, you will get a pop-up on your screen asking you permission to admit them. But say, for example, Marzu and Kyle are part of my organization. If I send them a link, they can join the meeting irrespective of whether I am there or no, and can start the meeting. Okay. But if they are a Gmail account holder, I get a pop-up saying permit so-and-so to join the meeting. So that's the only control you have. You can obviously throw out people. You can mute mics, but Meet hasn't got the feature of mute all as of now. They are coming up with it very soon, and a few other features like raise your hands and all. But as you see, I have downloaded a Google Meet extension. This is a Chrome extension for Google Meets that allows me the feature to raise my hand or whatever, and basically, you know, do the same thing that Zoom has, but this is an extension. This is not integral to Meet. Okay. There are a few other settings. You can go and check out the layouts. Google Meets, when it began, didn't have a grid view layout. They then got a grid view with 9. They now have updated it to a grid view with 16. They're coming up with a grid view for 49. And but there is another extension called Grid View, which allows you to see everybody on your screen in the grid fashion. So even if you have 150 people, they'll all be cramped in your screen. Obviously, the grids will be smaller and smaller. Google Meets allows recording, at least for me in my Xavier's account. And for those of you who have G Suite accounts, it will allow you recording. I'm not sure whether it allows it in Gmail or no. I don't think it is enabled. And even if it is, I think it will only be till September. And post that, when the pandemic range is over, they might stop the recording feature there. But for G Suite account holders, you have a recording, and this recording gets saved automatically to your Google Drive. So you don't have to bother about downloading it on your laptop. Actually, it's there in Zoom also, but the feature of this recording is that even if you as a host get logged out of your classroom for range network issues or whatever, the recording will continue. Okay, and you will get it when you join back, it will be continued. Now, the last thing on Google Meets is this. Do you see this Apple icon? It was grayed out when I showed it to you on my Chrome. So I'll show it to you again. When I go to my email, the Apple icon gets grayed out. But when I come to Google Meets, the Apple icon gets switched on, basically. Okay. This Apple icon is an icon for Meet attendance. So as Marzu was telling you, this allows you to take your attendance live while your class is going on. So you don't have to bother about attendances. And what it does is it generates a Google Sheet. So what I'll do is I will just share that with you, and I'll show you how you can use Meet attendance for your classes. So the good thing about this is students have to log in with their Gmail IDs or their email IDs to get access to Google Meets. So basically their email gets auto logged in. So for example, here, this was one of the professors who took a lecture for the course that I was conducting. I don't know who, this is Aparna's lecture, okay, on the 25th of May, just over a month ago. And you can see how Google Meets has tabulated attendances for this one lecture. It tabulates attendances by opening up a Google Sheets file. I'll show you how that is done. And then every time you click on the participants list, it basically just takes a scroll of all the names and gives you an attendance of everybody. I hope you can see the sheets. And you can see there are two important features here. What Google Meet will give you is it will give you this date and timestamp with saying Meet attendance here. You can rename the Meet attendance, and I have done it by naming it with her name and the lecture title she took. The date and time I did not tamper with. The date and time is also given here every time the attendance was taken. So the attendance was taken on the 25th of May 2020. Please remember, this is the American style of writing MMDDYYYY. So don't get flummoxed with seeing the inversion here. The timestamp is recorded. So you can see at what time attendances were taken. You can see which all people were present or who all were present at what time. And eventually they started leaving. The lecture ended here. And at the end of that, we were only two of us discussing something. And finally, I closed the session at what time. And every time you take an attendance, you see this link out here. The link for this meeting also gets captured here. So this becomes an authentic proof that you took the lecture. The timestamp is there, the link is there, and the names of the students are all there. Even if the student leaves in between and then joins again and then leaves and joins, Google Meet's attendance, every time you take it, will capture that attendance taken and will show the student absent or present. How do you access the attendance? You have to click on participants. So when you click on this, this page opens up. And of course, the chat box is here, but you see people here. And if you have installed the Meet and this is red, you will get this clipboard with a tick mark here. And when you touch this, you don't even have to click it. You just take your cursor there and you will see these two and these two extra kind of features open up. This is a scroll feature, leave it on. And this feature is for attendance. If I put this off, you can see this number turns to 0, which means attendance is not being taken. The moment I put it on, attendance is being taken. This means you're opening a new sheet for attendance. I don't want to use yesterday's sheet. I'm opening a new sheet. Because if you click this directly, it will open up the previous sheet and carry on attendance from there. So you click on this new and then click on this and it opens up the sheet that you used last. And so it's opened up the sheet and it's showing you your attendance name here. So it needs a little getting used to, very honestly. You can achieve in the end to get a brand new sheet. Maybe it'll take a little practice on your end and you will get the attendance tabulated. Please remember, if you're a frequent user, if you click on the pad button, it will open up the sheet you used last. So your options are to make a new sheet. You'll have to click it once again. It will open up a brand new sheet, or you can open a new worksheet in the workbook itself. So Excel has these features. Remember, this is a Google Sheets attendance. It can be downloaded in Excel. So this is how Meet attendance can be taken live. It's a very useful tool. It takes a little getting used to. The extension is found on Google Meets. The extension is found on Google Chrome extensions. Remember, there are two softwares that give you attendance, but Meet attendance with the Apple icon and a great tick is the most favored of the two and widely used of the two. So if you need it for your classes, you can download it and use the extension. It works brilliantly. Okay, so that was about Google Meets. A very seamless tech tool. We've used it very often. It's a very good tool for maybe teaching classes and for a one-on-one or one-to-two interactions. It may not be the ideal platform currently for a webinar or a conference where you need to control people with great severity. This is more for like an informal or a classroom setting where you know your students and kind of that they are not going to interfere too much. And obviously, if your students are troublesome, you can throw them out of the Meet. There is an option called remove that comes up when you're there. Okay, so this is how you can use Google Meet and the extension for Google Meet attendance. There are a couple other extensions for Google Meet, but those are not really mandatory. Attendance is a good one that you can use. So if there are any questions, I hope they've been answered, but if there are any questions, I will take it on Google Meet. Otherwise, we can wind up, and unless Marzu or Kyle has something to add, or you guys have any questions on overall.
There was one person, Conrad, who had just wanted a little brief again on this attendance thing. If you could just brief it up, so till then I can give the others the poll while you're briefing it up for them.
Yeah, sure. Who was the person? Can you just tell me?
For everybody else, I'm giving you all a poll on this Google Meets that we have just spoken about. Please answer this poll till then, and Conrad, so you can just take on the questions till then. Yeah.
Yeah, one sec. I'm just going through the chat, so let me see.
Yeah.
I've answered almost all of them, Conrad.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Someone wanted a repetition, so maybe you can just go step by step. Like step one, first go to Chrome Web Store and get in the Google Meet Attendance app.
Okay, how to get Google Attendance app you wanted? Yeah, so here basically let me just Chrome extension
was the one who needed.
So you search for Chrome extensions, click on. let me just, while you're doing the poll, I will share my screen and you can basically look at how do you get to Google Meets. So once you type Chrome extensions and you've selected the browser, just here on the left-hand top corner, Kyle, can you see the screen? Yes, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Very much.
On the left-hand top corner, you get search the store. You just type Meet attendance. Okay. So when you type Meet attendance, you get this, and you get, these are the other two that are there, but they have not been greatly tested. So the Meet attendance collector and the Google Meet attendance haven't been really tested. This guy is a very renowned guy who writes a lot of codes on Google extensions, Clay codes, okay, .org. His name is, this guy's name is Clay Madison, I think. Okay, and Clay writes a lot of small snippet codes for Google Chrome extensions, and he's a well-known person. So this Clay attendance basically is what people use for Google Meet attendance. And you can see I've already added it. So it basically is added here, and it says it's added. And if you want to add any extension, all you have to do is click on Add to Chrome. And basically the extension opens up and it installs itself in your Chrome browser. Okay, so this is how you get Google Meet attendance. You can see the icon better here now. It's an apple with a gray tick. So that is Google Meet attendance. I'll also show you how to, because I think I jumped into this directly. So there are many ways in which you can start a Google Meet attendance. Sorry, a Google Meet session. One is through the calendar. So when I click on my calendar, you see I had a meeting with a student yesterday for discussing some project that he's doing in the night. And the moment I added his name, Google gave me a link, and we both just had to click on this join with Google Meet, and we both were in the same meeting. So that is one way you can open Google Meets. The other way is you can start a new meeting. When you start a new meeting, it opens a new window altogether. So it's always better to schedule a meeting and then get to it rather than starting it brand new and then sending the invite. But this is one way to open up. You can see this is how Google looks, the same screen that you saw earlier. Okay, and you can join and then save the setting to, okay, you know the camera failed because the camera is already basically on right now, so it cannot be streaming to 2. But basically you can join Google Meets. That's another way of joining Google Meets. See, with this, Google opens up in a new extension, in a new browser called the Meet browser. So this one has certain other issues. I wouldn't really recommend that. There is another way is if somebody is calling you to join a meeting, you can click on join a meeting, just copy paste the code. Okay, just copy paste the code and you're done. You're in the meeting. The easiest is you create a meeting, send the code out to people via calendar invite, and they'll be in the meeting within minutes. So that's how you set up a meeting. And then if it's a class, so I would prefer the calendar if you're taking regular classes, because you can set up the calendar event, add your students' email IDs, and they will get a message because it's on the calendar, and it gets saved in your calendar as a documented event. So that is about Meet attendance and Google Meets. You will have to use the feature a little bit to get hands-on. Okay. But it takes a little getting used to some of these features, but trust me, if you basically work with it, it becomes second nature to you after some time. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Somebody had, so Rekha ma'am had a varied, I didn't get this question, Rekha ma'am. The Google Meet attendance varied yesterday from my college recorded.
No, it depends on extension to extension. So they must have used a different extension content.
Oh,
I've replied to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't quite. Fine.
Achha, Rekha ma'am has again put it that it's not the format, the list of students is not matching.
Matching to what, ma'am? Because one I showed you takes the participants that are in your participant list. You don't have to add any student to that list prior. But the other two that you saw in the extensions, one of them I have tried. For that, what you have to do is prior to the meeting, you have to give your list to Google, to that Excel file telling these are my students. After that, they will basically that extension will cross-check it with students who have come. So that's why I didn't use that, because I may have n number of students in my class, but if they don't want to attend my lecture, I'm not forcing any of them to. So Google Meet attendance basically takes the list only that's populated in your participants list. It doesn't ask you for anything. You require no input in that short of just downloading the extension. So you'll have to tell us what extension you're using. Also remember, if you are students, please remember that this is something that even has an issue with Zoom, and we will probably tackle it at the end. If your students have email IDs like iamtheking@gmail.com or wolverinerules@gmail.com, and they log in with that email ID, then Google is going to capture wolverinerules@gmail.com as the student name, unless at the back end, the student in his Google information has given the name of the student. Okay. So if the student has not given his name and has kept his name on the Google registration as Wolverine Rules, or I've got one student who named herself as Pink Paisley. Okay. And everywhere I was getting it as Pink Paisley. So I had to inquire as to who the student was, because even in a Gmail registration, a name is Pink Paisley. Also, please remember, some of your students might log in from their parents' accounts. Then your parents' names get shown up. And you'll be wondering, why is this one's name not coming up? So apart from those, I don't know how it could have missed the session.
Okay, anyway, so I will, I will end this poll right now. Conrad, so you could answer the questions till then. I'll just share the results.
Yeah, no, I think the questions are done. Yeah, share the poll results. Yeah.
Yeah, you can give the answers to
okay, fine.
questions.
So in a Google Meet session, you can take live attendance. Yes, but with the help of an extension. That's correct. Okay, so it's not a feature integral to Google Meets. And I don't think Google will ever get it integral, because now there are extensions for it. So Google's not going to bother with it. But yes, you can, with the help of an extension, very much take the attendance. The extension that helps you record your screen is called Screencastify. Yes, it is called Screencastify. Google extension are not available for other browsers. They are, may not be every extension, but there are, as Marzu said, there are walkarounds around extensions. So if you can't use X, Google Chrome extensions will obviously have Y, Z, A, B, C for you, and you can use those. But Edge has very good compatible extensions for Google. Okay, so you can check it out. The extension that helps you share anything you find on is called Share to Classroom. Yes. Okay, so that's it about the poll and the results. Yes.
Okay, so I think we could,
I must also warn you that if you are trying Meet attendance for the first time, please practice it all by yourself and with a few friends before you use it with your students, because it takes a little getting used to. Okay, it's a new software. If you're learning something new, it will take a little getting used to. So practice it with your friends or students who you can use as testing subjects before you actually use it live in the class. Yeah. Marzu, you can wind up.
I think we could wind up for today. It's already 1:30.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's wind up. Stay tuned with us tomorrow.